back in Minnesota. It's the middle of May, and it is wet. They have been getting so much rain up here. We just got here maybe 5 days ago, and we now see it for ourselves. Everything is flooded. The rivers are at flood stage.
They had a ton of snow. Snow melted, and then they had a ton of rain.
And the rain just doesn't stop. Every few days, it rains an inch.
We're on the Red River, and we are in the Red River Valley. The Red River, fun fact, flows north. So any of the moisture from down south, we get here, and then it also flows up into Canada. They're flooding as well. Tons and tons of water everywhere.
So everyone's behind on planting. No one has planted yet. We are weeks behind at this point. And what we're doing today is getting load sites set up. So we operate off of multiple different airports, and we have load sites at each of those airports so that we can load and then spray fields that are close to that particular spot. So today we have 2 that we're gonna do, maybe 3, I don't know about a third, but 2 of them we're going to get set up today. All of the tanks have a suckback valve. So this is our water tank that we will fill with 3,000 gallons of water.
All right.
I hear water.
Me too. So we don't normally winterize or de-winterize this site, but we are today de-winterizing it. We're just making sure that there aren't any leaks, cracks, and it appears that this pump here was not winterized, so we're just making sure that it doesn't have any issues. This is a filter for our main pump, and we're just gonna pull it out and make sure that it looks okay. Basically, next time we show up here, we'll be with an airplane, and we just wanna make sure that everything is good to go. That looks nice and clean.
That is nice and clean. Big Bertha here has had a long, cold winter. Let's see if she starts.
Key.
It's so nice when things just work. Hank is not a big fan of Big Bertha.
We have a little bit of time to kill because we want the water tanks to fill. Or wait, are we just gonna leave those going?
Maybe we'll go grab something to eat. What time is it?
10:41. It's
That's
time
not-
for a break.
There's just a gas station in town. It does have a restaurant though, but we need to change a filter first.
Fuel filters. So that's a good way to pass 10 minutes.
5 minutes, and then it'll definitely be full. It's not, we don't have any water in here yet. It needs to fill for a little bit longer.
Like 10 hours probably.
I don't know if we should replace that hose.
We are heading into town. We're gonna try and find a hardware store.
This would be our first trip to the hardware store today, which is impressive for us. Things like this for me usually require at least 4 to 5 trips to the store. But once we get that done, hopefully the tank will have filled with some water that we can actually get it to the pump and make sure that all the connections and everything are not leaking. If all that looks good, I think this job is done for this site. We have a grocery store, a bar, a cafe.
Hardware Hank. Hardware Hank.
Hardware Hank. Oh, wow. There's a Hardware Hank. We missed it. We'll go around the block. We got this. They don't have any big enough for us.
We're gonna have to get some hose from the big city. This place is closed.
Another day. I hate not completing a project.
So we actually didn't accomplish anything with that. However,
I mean, the water tank is
That's true.
That's the hardest.
I have more things to add to my list of things. Now we're just gonna see if we can get some water in here to make sure nothing's damaged or leaking. I'm judging by those containers down there, there are some pre-existing leaking conditions. We don't have enough water yet. Do we go eat lunch or do we come back later?
Hangar 54 pizza. Maybe we'll go get lunch.
Lunch it is. It's a lunch. Okay. Small town Minnesota, there are not too many options to eat, but this seems to be the popular spot.
It's 11:38 and literally 1, 2, 3, 3 four-wheelers back there, 3 cars just pulled in,
oh my
2
gosh.
cars in front of us.
I don't even know if we'll be able to get a table.
I may have to take a nap after this.
So we're back from lunch, and as we were driving away, we realized that this load side was not winterized properly. This plug was not taken out. We don't think any of the water was drained out. May have more issues than we were thinking, but we may have enough water now to test it.
This still has not been enough time to get water in here to the point that we can actually get it pumping and see if anything's leaking. However, these tanks need to go to our next load site, which is maybe 50 miles or 60 miles to the north. I've actually never driven it, so I'm not really sure, but we're gonna hook those up and get those onto the next load site. We're gonna leave the water on here. We'll come back later and try to check all of this.
We found a little friend taking a nap.
I don't think he's napping. Sometimes things are not meant to be, and that may be. Sometimes things are just not meant to be, and that may be the case for this afternoon at this load site, which, by the way, was not 50 or 60 miles, more like 30. I've never driven it, and I don't know, feels longer in the airplane, I guess. But this is too wet out here. We had mentioned the rain. I thought it would be at least dry enough to get these out a little ways where we need them to go, but the ground is still a little bit spoogey underneath your feet. There's still water that comes out. I don't want to put big ruts in here, so we're gonna leave this for maybe a day or two and come back. But if we go back to the last load site, I think there'll be enough water now to get it going. It's just after 2 o'clock. I am hoping that we can get this load site finished today. Depends, I suppose, on how bad any leaks may be.
We discovered that we have an issue with our water. It's just trickling into the tank. So we need to figure out why. Tyson was up there trying to figure it out. Comes out of the suckback valve with a ton of pressure, but then going into the tank, it doesn't have any pressure. And without water, we can't do anything else. So I guess we're calling it a day. We're gonna let that fill overnight and maybe come back tomorrow. We decided to not give up, but we're also not very smart.
We have water. So it's literally been like 4 hours and we had 300 gallons. And finally, I'm saying something's not right here. There is no way
You're saying that? I'm saying that. I'm the one who's like, there's no way this is only at 250 gallons after 4 hours.
If that was the case, there's absolutely no way that the water would keep up with an airplane every time it would take 500 gallons and come back 30 minutes later. All day long, it wouldn't keep up.
It's not right.
Anyways, I climbed up there and something is wrong with that valve that prevents water from coming back into the building. And I'm not exactly sure what's wrong with it, but may have to replace some parts. However, we have water now, so at this point, we can now see what kind of leaks we have. We definitely have a leak here. I think one of the issues is going to be this O-ring that we're replacing right now. And then I think another issue is also that some of these hose clamps are maybe a little bit big.
They're all too big.
And so we've added 2, but we don't have the right size. So we're gonna see if that helps and then bring back the correct size. We also found that the threads on this guy were leaking as well. Luckily, Callie carries a little bit of this stuff everywhere she goes. So we're gonna clean this up, reapply some new goop, put it back together, and that should fix that leak. At that point, I think all the leaks are fixed.
I'd say that's good.
Right there. We're calling this one done. I originally wanted 2, maybe 3, but we only got 1. Tomorrow's another day though. Maybe we'll get some more.
Gotta stop talking. You're gonna have to stop.
I think this is gonna cut me off. It's Sunday. A little bit later in the afternoon. We had kind of a lazy morning. Got Hank out for a walk, but we are determined to finish this project this afternoon. A little bit nicer today, warmer and sunnier. It's go time. It's sunny and warm, but it's still windy. All in all, we're pretty happy with this load site. It's gonna need just a little bit of cleaning, which we're gonna do, but we're at least ready to load an airplane out of this. Also, the tanks that we set behind us, those need to be cleaned. You saw we didn't have a ladder. So we need to come back with a ladder and just stick a hose in there and just kind of slosh it around the outside of that tank. There's a bunch of algae. Because those tanks are clear, algae has grown in there. So I think if you just spray it down, it'll come out.
One nice life lesson we have learned is that you don't even have to know how to winterize a load site and it won't leak. We can be as anal as possible and it still leaks.
We were not in charge of any of this last year, and a lot of these sites did not get winterized properly. I figured things would have definitely cracked over the winter, but they haven't. That's a wrap for today.
Actually, we gotta go load some barley.
We've got some barley to find. So tomorrow, Monday, we have some spreading to do of barley, and we have to go get that set up. It's just after 5 o'clock, and that shouldn't take too long, but I'm sure we'll be
You don't really know what we're doing, so it always takes a little bit longer when you don't know what you're doing.
We don't know what we're doing.
ready to go for the morning. Thanks for hanging out with us for the weekend. It's not always as exciting as flying an airplane.
No, it's not. There's quite a bit that goes into it on the ground. We appreciate you guys watching. Remember to fly low and fly fast.
Check us out on Instagram and Facebook at agaviationadventures, and check out our new website at www.agaviationadventures.com.
Hold on. Did you just say www? I don't think that's been a thing for like 12 or 15 years.
Okay, check out our new website at agaviationadventures.com. I don't know how to say it without saying
there
that.
is a www dot in front of that in case you didn't know that. agaviationadventures.com.